Islam. It is Islam Dwayne by Bay. How are you? I hope well. It is July the 26th, 2018. Imani, come here. This is my son, Imani Gray-Bey. Did you see? Okay. Can you go ahead and close that curtain? Okay. Yeah, that's my son, Imani Gray-Bey, and I know you know him. Okay. And I'm Rhonda Arrington-Bey, as you know. I always claim to be your wife. What I'm about to do, Dwayne, it's about, what time is it, Imani?
It is 5:40.
5:40. Okay, I'm about to give Imani a clear reason why I claim to be your wife all this time. It's because I want him to have a clear understanding. And so, Dwayne Bey, by me doing this video, you have room to refute it. R-E-F-U-T-E. Refute it. So, because I believe this is the time of truth. I have a son. I have two sons, Abbas Malik Bey, as you know, and Imani Gray-Bey. My name is Rhonda Arrington-Bey. I was telling Imani how important it is of keeping the sacred grove, that mental plane that exists where Moors can communicate to one another, especially if you're married or get married in that plane. So, Imani, what happened was with Dwayne Bey, I've never gone into the sacred grove before. Never. My consciousness changed, as you know, Dwayne, when in the year between 2010, it's always been changing, but a peak happened between 2010 and 2011. And in North Carolina, I moved to the house with the Washita. I knew the Washita Moor, Dr. Leem and Kadir El-Bey. And that's when I met you. I actually I looked at your Facebook account a couple of times when I was in Lithonia, Georgia, but I didn't think nothing. I just looked at, I saw your fez, and you were advertising Moorish American National Republic. I always say this, I didn't think anything of you like that, even though during that time I was for whatever reason craving Jamaican rum. I didn't even know you were from Jamaica. I had no idea. I realized you were from Jamaica after I drew this picture in reference to reggae or lots or something like that, and I think afterwards, and then I looked down, I looked at your picture on Facebook, and it said something about Jamaica, that you were from Jamaica. But otherwise, I hadn't looked at your page enough to even think or care about where you were from. But when I went to North Carolina to live in the house with the Washita, where I learned from the Washita Moor, Dr. Leem and Kadir El-Bey, that's when I started to really pay more attention to your website, because I was trying to gain understanding and understanding. So this is how we married, Imani. We went in. I was in the sacred grove with him, and one day I asked him. I didn't even know it was him at first. Then I did know, because he told me it was him, and I knew it was him. And I was listening to the Moorish American National Republic call on Sunday, and how he let me know it was him was through words and communication, through the words and mental communication. At first I was not sure, because we had started communicating in the sacred grove, but then I saw on his Facebook account he was connecting different words to what I was saying, even though not straight, not complete communication with me. Now, I don't have any money. I'm not that educated. I'm from North Carolina, and I had just moved. I lived most of my life in Georgia, but I had moved back to North Carolina. I was telling Imani that him and I come from a special line in North Carolina. We do. Very special line. And this is in connection to our birthrights and inheritance. Okay? Birthrights and inheritance as Moorish Americans, as divine souls, as that divine line of Abraham. All right, Boaz by Ruth, Hezekiah, Jesus. So and Joseph. So and King Solomon. So what I'm trying to get at, Dwayne Bay, is someone explain to him why that I claim and have spoken forcefully about being your wife. So I remember, I was meeting with you in the Sacred Grove, and I asked you, Dwayne. I said, Dwayne, because this was my first time connecting with a spirit or soul in the Sacred Grove, and I knew it was you. And I said, what are your intentions for me? Because this was my first time. I've never been in the Sacred Grove. This is my first experience. I had no idea. My consciousness just awakened. I never dealt with occultism. When my consciousness awoke between 10 and 11, that's when I started to put pictures up and started to listen more to Moors, such as Bobby Hemmett. Nobody in my family has ever talked about spiritual things as much, or in such a manner of teaching, or enough for me to want to say, what is this other world, this occult side? No one. In fact, it was sort of like hush hush, When I had experiences that I couldn't explain, I would try to, but no one really had an answer. You understand what I'm saying, Dwayne? So I was really new. I'm a very innocent soul when I entered the Sacred Grove with you. All right? Because there's a reason why it's called a Sacred Grove in my terms. Because that term, Imani Gray, -Bay, this is my son, once again, is not supposed to be misused. It's not supposed to be misused, and it's not supposed to be tainted. It's supposed to be a spiritual connection. It's part of your temple. It's Allah. So I remember I asked, what was your intentions for me? And then you said you had good intentions, and you married me in the Sacred Grove. And in that marriage, we did rituals. I've never done rituals before with anyone. And dealt with bonding through we would do a little slit in our hand, and we would bond our hands together and pray. I would write constantly in the red book. And at the time, Dwayne Bay, I was the first one that I knew you did this with. I didn't know about the lady from Australia until later. So at the time, I was the first one you did this with. So we would go into a tree, go inside and bond. Many times we shared different fluids. This is in the Sacred Grove, spiritually, between you and I. Because you were my husband, or you are my husband, and I am your wife. And this is how I felt like we would stay strong and bonded to one another. I didn't want that connection to die. I didn't want it to fade away. And I knew that you were far away. So I remember we were mixing our blood spiritually so much, whether it was through oil or the hand. However, I remember one time I was waiting to listen to the Sunday conference call, and I remember hearing some of the Moors say on a conference call, because it was about to start, saying, you're not supposed to be doing that. You're not supposed to be doing that. And they were getting upset, because at this time, then I knew about the lady from Australia. Okay, the lady that already has her nationality. That I think what's been out in the universe that I've learned, she has a status, she has money of her own, and she's connected to a nation. All right, so we were doing it so much that I remember I was waiting to hear the conference call on Moorish American National Republic, Dwayne Bay, because you are my husband and I'm your wife, and that's how I saw it. I didn't see nothing wrong with it. That I started right before the conference call. They were like, the women, a woman or female, starts saying, "You're not supposed to be doing that. You're not supposed to be doing that," or something like that, or because we were orally connecting to one another in different fluids. This is very sacred. Okay? Very sacred. Never done this with anyone. Do you understand, Imani Gray-Bey? Never done this with anyone else. Never. And I remember Dwayne Bey, you had put on your Facebook account, you said, I don't usually do things with someone who is, I forgot, because I didn't eat beef, but I ate turkey. I ate turkey and a little chicken, but I didn't eat beef, pork. We had stopped eating that a long time ago, but I was still dabbling with the turkey and the fish, but that didn't stop you. Okay, this is what we did, Imani Gray-Bey. This is my son. He's 24 years old. What we did was very sacred to me. I never ever in this lifetime did that with anyone. So we were bonding, consummating our marriage vows constantly in the sacred grove. And one time, Imani, I was so in love with Dwayne Bey that we had that Sunday, early in the morning, we connected and we were together and we spent a lot of time in the sacred grove. That Sunday night, I remember hearing him talk, and he was talking about how he's gonna get there was a girl talking to him or whatever, and it started to make me feel a little jealous. And I never spoke on the call, but because I started to feel jealous about it, I said Islam, and I made up a question to ask Dwayne, right? And he responded. Then the Moor said, "Is there anyone that want to respond?" Okay, he responded, but then there was another Moor said, "Is there anyone that want to respond to this sister's question?" And Dwayne responded again, and then again, and anyway, that was a way to show that it was him. And I remember it got so quiet on the conference call. It was so quiet because there was, at the time, I didn't know why it was quiet. I had a feeling, but he was also, Dwayne, you were also involved with a lady from Australia. And of course, in many Moore's eyes, she was more fit to be your wife than I was because of who she is. All right? But Imani Gray-Bey, you come from a very special line. All right? Do you understand? Very special line. Like many souls in this hemisphere. We're not the only ones. Like many souls, awakening souls. And so I'm connecting the dots to why I know and feel that if I'm not marrying another this lifetime. After you, Dwayne Bey, it's it. And that's why I'm doing this video. Okay? Because Dwayne Bey, I don't have to be with you on a physical plane this lifetime. By you saying or telling the National Grand Sheik, you can say she's crazy, it never happened, whatever you want to say, and I can cut the Twitter line off. We could be disconnected, and you could go ahead and obligate to the woman you love if you had, whatever. If I'm not speaking truth here, however you want to do it, but I think it's time. Do you understand? See, to me, Dwayne Bey, it's not about whether that woman that you have, that the Moors said it's a good idea for you to move her in your house and you wanted her in the house, whatever, for you, it's not about that to me. Because if you haven't obligated to her on the physical plane, then that lets me know, something, either you're waiting, or something is twirling in your mind, all right? Now, she might be with child, I don't know. But that still does not change the fact that you married me first in the sacred grove. And it's not that I'm trying to dismiss who she is, because I know how that feels, because all through these years of knowing you, that has been purposely done. It's obvious that it's been purposely done. Through many, many harmful acts. Islam. And some of the harmful acts is been spoke of as though you were involved. But what I wanted to do is tell Imani Gray, give him an idea how special this sacred grove is, okay? And as an awakening more, why we are that, because we are among predators that also they wait for awakening souls to want to go in this plane. This is connected to birthrights and inheritance. All this is connected to our birthrights and inheritance. Imani Gray -Bey. So, right now, I'm having understanding that this is planetary. Or not planetary, use the word. The laws, I was just telling Imani Gray Dwayne Bey how the herd statue, Prophet Noble Ali put us under a religious, put Moorish Science Temple under religious affidavit. We learned this. And I was saying, I see why he did it. And that this is not the only reason why, but I can see a connection to the sacred grove, that spiritual plane, because that is a form of religion. When you inside that sacred grove, that mental plane, which is a part of your body. Okay? So your mind is you have a mind, you have a soul, your soul, and you have a spirit as a more, and then you got your physical body. If your mind is not free, and it has so many departments where you can go and connect to your ancestors, connect to those Akashic records, and pull back those ancient texts that helps you learn to be your true self again, that Allah has a registry of. If I'm a predator, an unclean spirit, and I'm trying to stop this change from happening, uplifting the earth and the universe, I'm going to attack the mind. I'm going to use trickery, use whatever type of sorcery, whatever I can to invade that space and try to lock it down. Once again, this is connected to our birthrights and inheritance as Moorish Americans, as divine souls. Islam. So I'm getting back. So that's how special and important it is. Imani has never gone to the sacred grove. But he's 24 years old. And so what I'm doing, Dwayne Bey, is giving him preparation, because I didn't have preparation. I fell in love with you, and that was it. And I trusted you. I trusted you. You understand what I don't know if you know what trust me with a pure heart. I don't know if you can understand or truly grasp what trust is with a pure heart. That means I didn't trust you because I was afraid that you're going to beat me up. I didn't trust you because I was afraid that you had something on me, or I was going to knock your nose off, or you was going to knock my nose off, make me feel shameful. I trust you because I love. And I never loved like that before in my life. I love. So the sacred grove, Imani Gray -Bey, is connected to Moors reclaiming their birthrights and inheritance, awakening souls. It is. And these unclean spirits who speak of bondage and how they paid for something, that's what they're trying to do. They are trying to wait so they can invade that space, lock it down, use it for possession. Possession can happen through the sacred grove, where they possess your mind, your spirit, have you behaving like something, like an animal on the street, where you're not, someone look at you, say, I know that's not the more I used to know, because that more is possessed, have use you as a sex tool in the sacred grove, rape you, molest you. So that's what these predators are waiting for. This is what they sit back, was a male or female, and they also use it to try to use the word marry, because they watch. So Dwayne Bey, I didn't know that predators was watching us be together, and I didn't know there was actually probably those that claim to be Moors who didn't like us being together so much, or female Moabites. Well, they were actually doing things possibly to cause harm. I had no idea, because I didn't know. I wasn't an occultist. Do you understand? I had no idea, but I trusted you. So these unclean spirits, they sit back, they watch on the outside externally to see what's going on. So you have Imani Gray-Bey, you have Moors who are advanced in what of witchery, occultism, female Moors, Moabites, and they might not be attuned to their highest self. Okay? You understand what I'm trying to say? And they might be in the nation, and they actually have chose to be in cahoots or allies with these unclean spirits in reference to helping them invade that sacred space, that temple, that sacred grove, especially awakening innocent Moors, souls who don't know. They don't know. This is their first experience. They're awakening. They feel they have questions. I had questions like, why is this happening? Why do I feel sick? Why do I feel, what's going on? So you do have some Moors who possibly sold their souls, or in the process of selling their souls, but who feels it's important to have connections or allies with these unclean spirits in reference to the sacred grove, your mind, the awakening souls. And that is connected to birthrights and inheritance, because they know once that space is invaded and to a point, it is less likely a awakening soul will continue reclaiming, correcting their status on the physical plane by alerting different government agencies of their change of status, by reclaiming their Moorish nationality, by correcting their social security card, passport, all these steps on the physical plane, staying connected, reading. They know it's less likely that awakening soul more will continue to do such things. Having understanding of the highest self. So Imani Gray-Bey, yes, there are Moors who have sold out souls, awakening souls, to stay in connection or with what you want to say, allies, a union with unclean spirits. All right. So I have to tell him that, because he needs to know, because he needs to understand, Dwayne Bey, how important and sacred this sacred grove, this plane is. And it's not to be played with. It is not. Where there's much knowledge is much responsibility. Where there's much knowledge, there comes much responsibility. So, I married you there. Now, like I was telling Imani Gray-Bey, your mom, Imani, never married anyone there before. Everything I did with Dwayne Bey, I did it because I loved, in purity. He knew more than me. I didn't know hardly anything, but I love and trust him. You understand? And I'm doing this video because if I'm wrong, then he can always call the National Grand Sheikh. And these Moors, Moabites, they can always correct me lawfully. It is July the 27th, 28th. They can correct me lawfully. Because see, Arrington-Bey, I'm not doing this out of ego. You understand what I'm trying to say? I am not doing this because I'm trying to put her down. I don't have to put the lady from Australia down. Through acts, words, and deeds, whether she falls down, you fall down, whether you climb up, whether her nose get knocked off, your nose get knocked off, through your past acts, words, and deeds, or your present acts, words, and deeds, these things happen. That's not for me to be trying to do. I don't think you need to worry about me trying to knock her nose off. Because if you were worried about that, then I would be thinking you would think about that before you made decisions that cause harm to someone who trusts you. That possibly included her in the situation. So I'm not a type of woman, and I don't want to go there, like, I'm not a soul that is here to knock off her nose. Even though my nose was purposely tried to be knocked off, whether it's calling me a whore, keeping me vulnerable to attacks. I'm claiming to be your wife online, staying connected to you, but yet I'm vulnerable to attacks mentally while I'm sleeping. Those unclean spirits outside are walking around saying, that the lady from Australia and Arrington-Bey did things ritualistically together, enjoying the fact that you were attacked spiritually. All right. So I'm trying to just navigate and reclaim my birthrights and inheritance, and also stay virtuous as your wife. How do you think it made me feel to hear these things or to experience these things? Not because I was unfaithful to you, but just simply because you possibly made a decision with Moors that you were ashamed of. And it took you so much time of you consummating with her, sharing your fluids with her. Finally, you get to a point where you don't care. Finally you at that point where you enjoy and you ready to just walk with your back, look like you got your back straight. Look like your back is straight. Finally. But you know the decision that you made in reference to Australia. So I don't have to purposely knock her or try to knock her nose off. I don't know all that went into the conversations and things that went on with you and her and the other Moors, the Washita Moors. But I do know that I loved you purely and with a sincere heart. And I do know that you stated you married me first. And I do know many times I hear telepathically through thoughts that you cannot obligate to her because you have married me first. Now, Arrington-Bey, I'm doing this video. All right? Now, I'm doing this video not because I'm trying to puff up my chest. It's because that what I'm experiencing, I give praise and honor to Allah that I'm able to overcome with love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. See, my son, Abbas Malik Bey, he also sees these videos. So I have two sons. So, and I'm a woman. And I know some Moabites in the Moorish American nation don't recognize that I'm a woman because I don't demonstrate witchcraft, and I don't have the skill, and I haven't reclaimed those skills of astrology and science and other skills, and I'm not as advanced as that which is that the lady from Australia is. But I am a woman, and I am a soul. I'm a mother, and I am a soldier fighting to honor my ancestors. And all this that is happening is connected to birthrights. And it is the root of everything. Because you know, Dwayne Byfield Bey, the depths of this rabbit hole and how important it is for us to reclaim our birthrights and inheritance in all aspects. So you understand when I'm vulnerable to attacks by these unclean spirits, whether it's the Mexican unclean spirit of the Mexican nation, or the unclean spirit or Spanish, whatever, of that Negro black, or the unclean spirit of the pale skin, whatever that other jurisdiction has to send and attack, you knew and you know. The Washita Moors knew and know. And you know it is about us in this hemisphere reclaiming our birthrights and inheritance. So whatever, so sometimes Imani Gray -Bey, when you learn knowledge and you become aware in science, witchery, I guess you want to say, sorcery, a lot of science, you might get, there are Moors that will try to recruit you and make you take oaths, okay? Or try to cause you to, or try to make you take an oath, or to be in a group. And in that group, okay, if you're not connected to your higher self and you're not able to stand on your square of truth and righteousness, those Moors that call themselves witches, all right, can have you do something as in selling a soul to an unclean spirit, or releasing a soul to an unclean spirit, or or sacrificing a soul to unclean spirits for a ritualistic practice, for status, gain, whatever. And that is not the way. That is not Allah's way. It is not Allah's way. I don't have to knock off no one's nose. I don't. I'm too busy trying to keep my nose. So, as a pure soul, Imani, once again, in time, you're going to start reclaiming different tools, skills, astrology. What's another one? Yoruba. What's another one? Voodoo. Learning different aspects of the earth. Science. What else? What's something else? Numerology. So what I'm trying to tell him is he's going to be reclaiming these tools one day, and they're going to be Moors or maybe non-Moors trying to recruit him. But I'm focusing on Moors that have reclaimed their status. Moors that have not learned how to stay attuned to their higher self. You're going to have to watch them, because if they recruit you and they are not attuned to their higher self, and you allow them to recruit you, one day when you are trying and you rise up and you're trying to gain financial stability and you're gaining financial stability, they might influence you to do sacrifices if you're not careful of awakening souls to keep your finances or your status, or to get more status and finance. Okay? You understand? And you know that is not the way of Allah. It has never been the way of Allah. The when you say you are ancient, you deal with ancient thoughts, ancient skills. Well, this is ancient law. That has never been Allah's way. I am not knocking your nose off, or the lady from Australia. Islam. I am not your wife. Islam. It's July 27, 2018. It's time. I just turned 45 2 days ago, Tuesday. I'm 45 years old. You informed Dwayne Bey, the National Grand Sheik. Australia means that much to you? Keeping her uplifted so you can walk in the daylight with your head up and your back looking straight, her back looking straight. You tell them. Correct this woman. All right? Do you understand? Otherwise, then everything except, if you don't, everything except all that you've done to a woman who has loved you and who is your wife. And that would be me. Not just your wife, but your first wife. And she loved you pure in purity. Except that you did it. This is the Holy Quran. I'm going to read. And it's called, I'm going to read section 2, chapter 71. It says, Noah said, My Lord, surely they disobeyed me and followed him, whose wealth and children have increased him and not but lost. And they have planned a mighty plan. And they say, Forsake not your gods, nor forsake Wad, nor Swai, nor Yahoo, nor Yah or Nas. I'm saying the words wrong. And indeed they have led many astray. And indeed they have led many astray. And increase thou the wrongdoers, and not but perdition. Because of their wrongs they were drowned, they made to enter fire, so they found no helpers besides Allah. And Noah said, My Lord, leave not of the disbelievers any dwellers on the land. For if thou leave them, they will lead astray thy servants, and will not beget any but immoral, ungrateful ones. My Lord, forgive me and my parents, and him who enters my house believing, and the believing man and the believing woman, and increase not the wrongdoers in aught but destruction. Islam. That's chapter 71 of the Holy Quran, Noah. Okay, so I am aiming for forgiveness. Even if the National Grand Sheik gives me a call, I still forgive. I forgive. I forgive myself for acting out when I didn't know all truths. I had no idea all what was going on, why. And I forgive myself for when I realized some of the truths. And I forgive you. I forgive. But I'm forgiving you, Dwayne Bey, when you are able to accept what you've done, or your participation in this, I should say. Even if the National Grand Sheik gives me a call. If he does not, then we continue. But I continue in knowing that I'm on the road of forgiveness. And I continue knowing that you knew I was still your wife. And the Moors and the Moabites know I am still your wife. And the lady from Australia, she knows I am still your wife. Islam.